This week on Pixel Realms, we've got a little bit of everything. The live-action Zelda cast is official. Karl Urban as Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. Is the 90s back? And the Assassin's Creed show sounds like Game of Thrones in a hoodie. To stay up to date on Pixel Realms, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. And now, the news this week is a mixed bag of a little bit of everything. It's pretty interesting, Joe, that we've got stuff from the gaming world. We've got Sony doing things. We've even got VTuber news, which I know you don't, follow too much, but it's big enough that it actually was making it to some national news areas.
It was big enough where Mark thought we should probably have done an episode of Pixel Realms that week. Which was last week, right? Because you were
yes,
hot.
I was hot.
Mark went to go sleep to hope that he didn't rant too hard in a video.
Yes, because I was going to say some potentially very damning things about maybe myself, because I don't know, when I get that heated, When I get that heated, I do not think about the words that come out of my mouth.
Which is very dangerous on the internet.
Yes, exactly.
Everything or forever.
Do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with Zelda?
No, let's start with the happy news. Maybe happy news,
okay.
I guess. So everyone probably knows this is about a week late since our last episode, but Zelda finally has found its Link and Zelda. And I know people are like, well, it's the same person. It's the same person. No, they're two different people. They're two different people. And
people still think that?
They do. They really, really do.
God.
Yep.
That's
really
crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I understood like 20 years ago, but now and I believe I think I even read that Shigeru Miyamoto had a hand in picking the cast, so like he actually was involved.
That's awesome. I like that. I like that. Here's the thing. I talked about it before about the Mario movie that came out, and when I first saw it, I was like, I don't really care for it. And you like raved about it being this amazing show, and other people I know talked about it being really awesome. I'm like, all right, I'll give it another shot. So I was sick and I watched it, and I was like, hot damn, this is damn good stuff. So, and they used a lot of source material in there. They didn't go too heavy with like the Easter eggs. They had a little bit in there, but nothing crazy. It was just a very good source, but with its own little story. They had some good
references. They had some really good references in there that, like, if you knew it, you enjoyed it more. But if you missed it, it didn't affect the movie. It didn't take away. It wasn't like an inside joke that people wouldn't get. It was just like a passing thing, like, oh, look at that item, that was from this thing.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, but I don't know, with Zelda being live action, I don't think it'll be that way. The only thing that worries me, and this is never a take on like them whether they're going to be a bad actor or actress, right? It's just that they look very young from the pictures I've seen, and they do not have a lot of experience under their belts. I
like that. Not a lot of experience.
3 titles.
Yeah, I like though. They're nobodies in the world of Hollywood. They're nobodies, and I like that because then there's not this persona behind them. They come out and they are who they are in the show, and you're not like, oh, I know them from this movie, that movie, the other movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can make the argument for both things, right? Because
sure.
Obviously, if they're not established, so you don't know how good of an actor or actress they're going to be, can they play Link? Can they play Zelda? But at the same time, like you said, they don't have a lot of things to come off of, so people can't say, oh, well, they didn't play Link as good as they played this character in this movie, or they were this character in this movie. There's no way he's going to be a good Link. Yeah. So this is them being a chance to kind of get molded to the role, and maybe this becomes their like initial defining role that leads them to getting more work in the Hollywood, which is never a bad thing.
And we were talking about before the podcast, but Pedro Pascal, who is in like 3 movies out in theaters right now, he's very popular. He's a hot actor. And you talked about him. You don't see him as
I don't. Yeah, and I agree. Like you said, you've seen the movie. You said he does a great job, and I have no doubts that he did do a great job. I've never seen him do a quote unquote bad job, even if I don't feel like he fits a role like Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. I don't see him as a Reed Richards but that doesn't mean he can't be one. That doesn't mean he can't be a great actor.
And
Obviously, from what I hear, he kills it.
oh yeah, and some people didn't like him as Joel in Last of Us. So like
Oh, that's true.
and
That's
yeah,
true.
and it's really hard to in something like going from a game into a movie, or in this case a show, it's very difficult to go from a voice actor as Troy Baker, who is the legend
Yep.
of voice acting. He's in everything and does a really
The
good job at
male,
yeah.
the male equivalent of Jesus for
Yeah,
voice acting.
exactly. And then you
It's not Troy
taking
Baker, Matt Mercer.
yeah. And then you're taking Pedro Pascal, who's a very, very good actor, incredible actor, and trying to have him play the role of a video game character. Very difficult, but I
Yes.
thought Pedro Pascal did an incredible job as Joel, and I thought he also did a great job as Richards as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, rumor has it he's going to be leading the MCU up until an upcoming reboot, which we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, supposedly, which makes sense, right? Because technically Captain America's gone. Technically Tony Stark is gone. Star-Lord has stepped down, even though he wouldn't have been, I don't think, a default leader.
Yeah.
The X-Men haven't properly been introduced yet, so that kind of only leaves Reed Richards'
And
character to be the big leader.
non-spoiler alert, because there are 2 ending credits for Fantastic Four if you've not seen it. The first one is the important one. That's right after the movie finishes. It's like 10 seconds afterwards or something. That's the big, oh my God kind of moment. And then the last one is not really worth watching. It's a cartoon. It's an intro cartoon. So for those who are wondering, like, watch the ending credits right away, because that's the best one. That's a oh my gosh moment. But again, no spoilers. Go watch the movie. Give them the money, because I haven't been this excited for a Marvel movie since Endgame. And that's saying
I'm just
something.
I'm very curious to see how they're gonna tie in the multiverse, because that's how it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it seems
like this isn't a spoiler. We know Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play.
Yep, that
Dr.
was
Doom.
already shown off. Yeah, but like
so it's got to be something to do with like
there's rumors that
universe.
the new Spider-Man movie is going to do something. That's going to be the reset. Like it looks like Spider-Man's going to be gone after this one. Whatever happens, he gets trapped in his own dimension. Who knows? Whatever happens, and then this will start the whole new saga.
Okay,
It'll be interesting. We ready to move on to the next one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say, like, Karl Urban.
Yeah, if for those who have not seen the little teaser trailer, I guess it's a trailer now. Oh my gosh, it was damn cool. I was down for this. I was down. I was super excited for it. I didn't think I needed Karl Urban as Johnny Cage, but I do, and I like it.
Hey Joe, this is going to be an edit moment for you. I'm sorry,
we're live.
Oh, we're live? Well, then never mind. But your mic, well, then I have to bring this up. Your mic is cutting out just a smidge. Like it cut out Karl Urban as Johnny Cage.
Okay.
So I heard like Urban as Johnny Cage.
Okay.
I didn't know we were actually live, but that's fine.
We're live.
I have no problem with that.
I'm going to turn off my compressor. That's what's going on. Okay.
Cool. Okay. All right. I just figured with it, cutting off like the actual full name, like that would be enough. That would warrant to bring your name up.
This is why live is great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, look, I think anyone who's not afraid to make mistakes on a live stream doesn't need to be streaming.
Exactly. But Karl Urban, hot damn.
Karl Urban, though, I don't know though. Johnny Cage, I guess I could kind of see it. He's done so many kind of like, I guess, rougher roles that I guess I don't see him as Johnny Cage.
Here's the thing.
Because Johnny Cage is the pretty boy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So Liam Neeson, we know him from Taken. We know him as Qui-Gon Jinn. He's gonna be playing his Liam. What's the guy's name? Naked Gun.
Yeah. I know. Yeah,
he's playing his son in Naked Gun as a comedian.
And like, it does not. I actually wanted to see the movie. My wife doesn't want to see it because she's not into that kind of humor. I don't blame her.
I'm gonna support it. I think I'm gonna go see it in the theaters. I'm gonna give him the $5
because it's so dry, right? He's such a dry actor that like it doesn't seem like it would work. Yeah. But at the same time, it kind of works.
The trailer looked pretty damn funny, like that. Like again, the dry humor funny.
The only thing that bothers me, I'm not a big fan of fart humor, and there's probably going to be a lot of that.
Oh,
But then the
it's full
original
of
Naked
that.
Guns,
Yeah,
the
the
original
OG
Naked Gun
was.
stuff had that. The only reason why I think it could be funny is that I don't see Liam Neeson doing fart humor, so it kind of makes it awkward, but
Yeah.
awkward in a funny way.
Well, in the trailer, he's sitting there in his car eating a hot dog or something. All of a sudden, he has to take a crap, because he just boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is. I just all I'm seeing is Qui-Gon Jinn doing this, and I'm like, this doesn't look right, but I gotta see this.
Holding his Jedi robes tightly around his waist, trying to cover any flashback.
Well, okay, so let's go back to our
Speaking of
topic,
flashback,
which
no
is
kidding.
Mortal Kombat 2. Now, so the first Mortal Kombat was pretty serious of a movie. It didn't have a lot of comedy in it. And this didn't have comedy in it, per se, the trailer at least. But it had that vibe of like old school kind of, like the Ninja Turtle movies where it wasn't comedy, but it was comedy kind of moments in there. That's kind of what this is like. It really feels like a 90s movie.
Although you have to, you do gotta kind of, with the Ninja Turtle movies, it's not the greatest of comparisons because the Ninja Turtles, like being Ninja Turtles, kind of makes it a quasi comedy in the first place.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I am a little worried about it because the first Mortal Kombat movie didn't do well. It obviously did do well enough to get a second film.
Well,
but it's not talked highly about.
Remember, it came out during COVID, so it was one of first.
That is true.
It might have been HBO Max's first movie that should have gone to theater, but directly went to streaming.
That's fair. That's why I feel like it does deserve a chance to go to theaters. Let's see how it does in the theaters.
It's not going to do well.
Well, there's no guarantee because, like you said, the first movie didn't do well per se because it was straight to streaming platforms with very limited theater release, I believe, if any at all, because of COVID.
I don't think it had any theater. Maybe like re-released later years, but the thing is, we talked about this before. Like Mortal Kombat is it's an icon. It's for people who grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? You know of Mortal Kombat. The Mortal Kombat today in today's society is not the same as it used to be. So if they're smart, they're going to tackle the people who grew up in the 80s and 90s and don't care about the but the Gen Z people.
Look,
because they're not going to come into Mortal Kombat.
As long as they put in the theme song, if they put the
theme
song
it's in the trailer.
Game,
it's in the trailer.
Good. If the theme song's not there, then they can kiss my ass.
It's in the trailer, so it will likely be in the movie.
Yeah. Speaking of video game movies or shows, I guess we've got talk about Assassin's Creed live action Netflix series.
Oh boy, I
hear it in your voice like you hear it in mine. The movie, so going back to the movie was not good. It was the original movie that had come out. I thought it wasn't good, but it introduced us to oh god, I always forget his name. Isn't it Michael Fassbender? Isn't that how you pronounce his name?
That's correct.
It introduced us to him. Like I had never heard of him until that movie. And that was the one shining star of that film, was he was a good actor. It's just that the movie he was given was not good. Yeah. Now, Netflix can be very hit and miss. I've said this before. I've gone into when the Netflix Witcher show started, I was very gung-ho, and then by second season, I was already starting to feel kind of because you could tell that Henry couldn't do what he wanted to do, and then I was very down on the One Piece live action show, and until it came out, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is great. But then you had stuff like Cowboy Bebop, which was terrible. So they're very hit and miss. So it's really just a matter of who's in charge of the show. Do they give a shit about the show, the franchise?
Listen,
etc.
Ubisoft is in a disastrous stage right now.
And there you have it. It's Ubi related.
I don't know if there's any saving them, which is, we've talked about it before, so we're not going to go too much on it, but how can you have the rights to so many major IP games, movies, whatnot, and have like on the verge of being bought out by someone else? Like how is that possible? Ghost, all the Tom Clancy, Assassin's Creed, right? Avatar was Ubi, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Avatar was Ubi. The Avatar series, then they have Star Wars, like how can you have these IPs?
Again, Joe.
Gosh dang it. You can have these major IPs and have this major issue.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, they are, and they're like EA, they're like Activision. They're these mainstays of the gaming world that theoretically could do no wrong at one point, and
Yeah.
now all they can do is wrong. And to the point that there's a potential buyout that could happen is crazy. When you can't have that many blockbusters franchises and fuck it up, and then Ubi somehow manages to fuck it up. It's crazy to me. I mean, just recently, didn't Tom Clancy's gaming division have to lay off a bunch of people?
Well, I think every
I'm almost positive.
every division at Ubi had to pretty much.
That's
even
true.
something.
That's true.
But they also came out with their revised Siege game, and it didn't do as well as they hoped, so they had to lay off some people.
Shocking, because people wanted Rainbow Six, a game, not the fucking Siege game, even though it's whatever.
The only plus to all of this is the fact that it's, I don't know, I hate to say this is a plus, but Netflix has had some success with some of the video game stuff.
You cut off real bad that time.
That's definitely not the noise gate anymore now. I think that might be your end, because I'm showing it pick up on my end still.
Okay, well then if it's coming from if it's only my end, then I'm gonna roll with it.
Okay, so
I won't bother us anymore about that.
So Netflix came out with the Castlevania stuff, right? And that was pretty good. Apparently, the Tomb Raider stuff's pretty good. Apparently, the Witcher anime thing was pretty good too. So,
it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so there's some success Netflix has had with some of that stuff. Now, this is live action, though. How much money is Netflix willing to put into it? How much money did Ubi provide, and how much Ubi is going to restrict it?
Am I crazy for thinking that why couldn't they have just done a serious adult animated Assassin's Creed show, kind of like Tomb Raider and The Witcher, so that they could go free reign and do the things that an Assassin's Creed character can do, that doesn't need to be highly stunted and highly CGI'd for an actual adult, human, because they can't physically do some of that. Is that just craziness to me? No. It's not craziness to say you want to give Assassin's Creed a proper showing in some kind of media that's not a video game, and you choose live action when you could easily animate something that lets the character be the character and just put a good voice actor behind the goddamn character.
Yes. And I don't think we really need a live action.
Rocket science.
We don't need a live action. It's not necessary.
No, nobody wants a live action. Does anyone? Were you on the forums? Did you ever see anyone clamoring, going, "Oh man, I really hope we get another live action, showing from Assassin's Creed"? Oh man.
The movie didn't do well enough in the box office. That should have been cue that you should have just done like cel shaded or do anime style, some sort of animation.
How many years did Assassin's Creed have to take off to get people interested in it again after Valhalla? Because Valhalla didn't do well. Not even if it was a bad game per se. It's just that we were so Assassin's Creed out.
Yeah.
That we were just kind of tired of Assassin's Creed. Period.
Mirage is a very good game.
Did they take a couple years off?
They took a couple. I think it was the standard though, because Mirage came out shortly after. But Mirage is much smaller. Assassin's Creed style game.
For a while there, though, Joe, they were putting out Assassin's Creed title almost once a year.
I don't know about that.
I swear, Origins, the one with the female lead that came after Origins and Valhalla were all within a year to 2 years of each other. They were pretty back to back.
All right, so let's see, just really quick here, because I was able to pull it up. All right, so we had Origins was 2017, Odyssey was 18, then there's a 2-year gap, 2020 for Valhalla.
Wow,
and then,
how
3 years.
Okay,
there was a 3-year gap between Mirage and Valhalla.
But what you said 2 years, but realistically was the second game late 2018 and then early 2020 for Valhalla type thing? Was it really a full 2 years, or was it
October 2018 and then November? So it was 2 years.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
Mirage though was 3 years. Mirage was 3 years. That was 2020 and 2023, and then 2 years for Shadow.
But because they needed time away because people were sick of the franchise. I know. I was that I know I'm not crazy in thinking that there was people legitimately talking about Assassin's Creed fatigue, just
Oh
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
fatigue from a lot of those type of games that come out. The only people that for some fucking reason don't get any fatigue are the dumbass sports game players.
Which will
Who,
let's not get on that bandwagon again.
nope. Anyways, now so this next section kind of worries me, and it's not just because of Steam. Like this part isn't what worries me. It's what I'm seeing happen globally now.
Yeah.
That we'll expand on in a minute. But Steam now banning games that violate rules and standards of payment processors, meaning places like Visa and MasterCard are controlling what games are being able to be put out.
And it does set up a scary thing because,
Like what's going on in the UK right now.
well, yeah, so the UK is having it, and we're even, Mark and I here in the US, for those who aren't, in the US, the current administration, there's, talks of a lot of religious aspects being part of it, and there's certain states that are trying to not allow, let's say, pornographic stuff in their state, via the web. And the same could be
Florida.
for
I'm in Florida. I can tell you right now, sites like major sites like Pornhub, you cannot log into Pornhub without a VPN.
There you go. And that's going to extend to games and TV shows and whatnot that have any sort of violence that they
And
feel
media,
is
just media in
unnecessary.
general.
Immediate, yeah. So it is setting up.
What's his face? Trump's upset about his small penis in South Park, and is now talking about South Park getting canceled because he can't handle his little penis syndrome.
And it all goes back to the amendment rights, at least in the U.S., where freedom of speech.
Yeah, but apparently, but remember, in this administration, freedom of speech and the amendments and the rights of the Constitution don't mean shit. They're just things that can be ignored.
So it does, and obviously, like you mentioned it in the UK, like this is a worldwide issue. There is massive censorship in China, right? And it's always been that way.
Korea, Korea, you have to. Korea, you have to have a social security number to be allowed on the internet. And I've told you this before, and I may have even mentioned it on the podcast. I actually don't hate the model. I do hate it in the sense that, like, if it blocks your freedoms, like if you still give out your information, right, and you still are still blocked from being able to say, look at pornographic material, that's when I have a problem with it. But I don't actually hate the idea of having your name somewhere being online, so that if you decide to be a keyboard warrior and talk your shit online, people can actually find your ass, because that would save a lot of lives.
Well, that would end swatting, in the
would end
U.S.
swatting.
Illinois just passed a bill that protects people from swatting now. So.
But here's the thing: it's a slippery slope, right? Because then you'd be talking about our freedoms of expression,
and that's what the internet's always been about.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those weird things where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. At the same time, though, when people are dying, when people are being swatted and accidentally killed, when people are being harassed online and bullied into potential suicide, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. This is a whole different can of worms that we're not going to get into. I'm going to say my piece and then end it there. But it's one of those things where you almost wonder if having these freedoms sometimes are not worth it in exchange for human life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Steam's had this problem for a while in terms of.
Yes.
I look at new games that are released. You scroll on Steam and you see the new games trending on sale. That new one.
There's a lot of pornographic games that end up there.
80% is just trash. 80% is some porn puzzle game or something. Whatever. Who knows? It's some probably AI generated crap. But Steam has a problem, and Steam should have attacked this a while back ago. This is a Steam problem. This isn't a payment processor's problem.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where Steam used to not allow pornographic material on there at all. And here's the thing. I don't mind it. Hell, I own a couple pornographic games because I don't think there's anything wrong with them. The thing is, though, is I do think there should be a divider in, like, either, almost like, you remember, this is going to show my age and Joe's age a little bit.
Whoa.
But shut up, Joe. You remember going to Blockbuster? Or I won't use Blockbuster. A video rental store. Yeah. And there used to be a back room that you had to show your ID to go into. Yeah, there needs to be an online equivalent.
That's the
unlike
thing.
Steam, for example.
Steam has you put in your stupid birth date, but there's no verification for it. You just put in, oh, my birthday's here. Any
And
kid
that's what I'm
can put
saying,
that
though.
in.
Are you saying that that would be a huge thing to reprogram and make? I don't think it would. To be like, look, you could set up your settings to allow that pornographic stuff to be visible like it is right now on the platform.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it should be hidden behind some kind of wall.
Yeah. I see what
Unless
you're
you
saying.
enable it.
Yeah.
Like a simple click of a button of enable pornographic material or adult content. That's all.
And, obviously this issue has been growing and growing over the past, more importantly, probably in the past 20 plus years as the internet's become more accessible to people. And you have the younger generation coming into it. So you have the Gen Z growing up with internet, with high access to internet at your fingertips.
Gen Z is the most online generation ever.
Yeah, like me and you, we grew up with this. We grew up with dial-up. We grew up with the internet, so we understood it as time went on. We watched the safety videos. Don't do this, that, do that. Didn't stop us, but we still.
We grew up when it started.
Yeah, but the Gen Z is coming into it where you think about like the rise in depression, the rise in suicide, all that stuff. There's a factor because of all the social media, right? It's a factor with all this access. You can type in, someone told me I was weird. What's this mean? And then the internet's going to respond, well, it means you're weird. So there's just a lot of bad with the internet, and there's also a lot of good. It's just how do you filter it? And that's if someone can figure out that problem, well, they should win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, because that's ultimately at the end of the day. And this isn't going to be this isn't a podcast about judging people and about
we judge people. We just judge companies, though.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is, this isn't a podcast about judging your lifestyles and how you parent your children.
You do what you want to do.
But at the end of the day, that unfortunately, that's what it boils down to.
It's
there's a lot of people who have children who either and here's the thing, I don't even want to blame those parents unless they are truly at fault. Sometimes they have no choice, right? Sometimes you are like a single mom, for example, and you can't afford to have daycare. So what do? You have to kind of use what you can. Yeah. And the internet and the iPads and that kind of stuff has been a good way to sort of entertain the child, keep them safe while they're able to do their thing to earn money to provide for said child.
Yeah.
So there are instances where the parent's at fault, but at the same time, can you fault them? And then there's just people who flat out have kids because it's a paycheck from the government once a year.
A lot of people.
Yeah, and just they stick the phone in their hands to say, shut up and don't talk to me, talk to this. And those are the people that we're talking about.
Yeah.
The ones that don't want to parent their children, so thus they don't monitor what the kids are doing, saying, or watching. That's where there needs to be something made for that. But unfortunately, that's easier said than done.
Google has made something that's really easy now, and that is to make phone calls for you. Talk about the segue
I'll
there.
Tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'm in a weird way, I'm all for it because I guess you can blame our generation because I think our generation is what started the texting wars.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I don't know anyone from my generation who likes to talk on the phone.
Oh, I hate. You look at my minutes per month, and it's like 2.
Yeah, I'm an extrovert, and I would still rather type and whatnot. So, take that for what you will. So if I could have AI make the phone call for me, especially when 90%, the only people who have my phone number are people who need to have my phone number.
Yeah.
So any incoming call, if I don't recognize the number, is instantly not for me. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't mind having the AI just answer saying, hey, assholes, he's not here or he doesn't want to talk to you. Please hang up. Don't call again. But if you do, I'll still answer and tell you to fuck off.
So Google, this was, God, how long ago was this? 15 years ago, probably. Google was the forefront of all this stuff, like they are with a lot of things. But they started the first ever AI can make reservations for you over the phone. So you would click a little button and put how many people you're going to go to the table. Google's AI would then call the restaurant, be like, hey, I'm trying to make a reservation for Bob. We have 3 guests. We want to be there at 1:30. Is that going to work? Sure, yeah, it's going to work very fine. Great, thank you. And then it would send you a notification that your reservation's all good. The problem was that it sounded too perfect. There was no ums and ahs and stuff like that. So Google showcased at Google's I/O, the AI now has ums and ahs in it, and people are like, "Wow!"
Does it need that?
It
But
did because
why?
most people have ums and ahs. I'm calling to make
That's true. Trust
like
me, I know
when I
because
have
I do it.
when I have so Google I have a Pixel phone and Google already has the automatic screen call on it. It does that. It says this is or what's it say, something like what's it say, it says something
You're
like
and I'm by the way. I
yeah,
know,
it's weird how that works.
I fucking hate it. You know, my wife when she first started listening to our podcast, she and my son listened to the first episode of the podcast, and they made note of like how many times I said and then they brought it back to me, and then I noticed myself talking just to you or me or somebody casually, the fucking and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Hey, it's part of, like, we're not professional speech people, so like it's part of life. That's just,
It's called a verbal tick for a reason.
yeah, exactly. But anyways, so it will say something with the ums and ahs in there
That's interesting. That's funny.
to keep the conversation more realistic. And now it's been doing that for a very long time, but now AI can actually make the phone calls for you directly, and so that's an even
cool.
bigger thing. Like imagine like. So my phone, I can have it. My phone, I can have so when I call up, let's say I call up Walmart because something's missing out of my order, right? Or it's broken. I need to. I can have it hold the the holding cue, and then it will alert me when they pick up on the phone. So
I kind of like that. I
Yeah.
really kind of like that. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Like I would 100% use that service
I absolutely love it.
because I don't like making phone calls.
No one
I just
I think
right before we got on the podcast, I made an appointment for my son to see a doctor, and that's not the best example because I needed to be in person talking to the person.
Yeah.
But like a normal like phone call to just make an appointment, because sometimes things happen, right? Like you have to make this phone call by, say, I don't know, 3 p.m. because
office
they're
is
going to close at
closed.
4
Yeah,
p.m.
absolutely.
Yeah, so if you have a program that can make the phone call for you to set up the things and then just give you the alert, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah.
So speaking of AI,
We're not all for.
Yeah. Candy Crush maker King. We talked about the layoffs recently, but they laid off 200 staff members. The biggest thing is that they being replaced by AI, and that's the problem. This is what people have been
liking.
People have been talking about it for a while, that AI is getting advanced, and that's great to have it accessible, but it's also going to replace a lot of key positions throughout companies because AI can replace a human in some aspects.
This is where I draw the line at AI.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in extent. I like AI for a lot of things. I like, in some ways, I like AI art, for example. But I would never use AI art as a means to an end when I'd prefer to pay a professional who knows what they're doing. But I also, like we've said, make examples. We use AI for our podcast thumbnails because unfortunately we have 7 subscribers. We don't have a huge audience. As much as we would love to customize our thumbnails, we're not artistically inclined as much as we would like to be.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to hire someone for every single individual thumbnail. I can tell you from experience from hiring artists, even making a simple thumbnail for our podcast would probably cost us anywhere between $75 and $150, depending on how elaborate we would want the thumbnail.
I don't have that money.
Could you? We have 37 podcast episodes out there. Could you imagine spending that kind of money 37 times?
Yeah. And like I get, like, people do what we do because they have fun with it, like we do. But at the same time, we got to be conscious about it because we have $3,000 to drop on thumbnails. No,
absolutely not.
Speaking of dropping a recast, Marvel plans to reset the MCU after Avengers: Secret Wars. This is what Mark was talking about earlier, and it includes recasting the X-Men, which is going to be a very big deal because of one Sir Hugh Jackman.
Well, here's the thing. We knew this was happening. Hugh Jackman was done with Wolverine with Logan.
Well,
he's older.
he came back. He came back. He came back.
Yes, but he came back because Ryan Reynolds asked him to. There's been many interviews where they've talked about it, where Hugh Jackman was content with being done because it was physically taxing on his body.
And Wolverine was a great exit. Or Logan, sorry. Logan was a great exit.
Logan was a great exit. Deadpool and Wolverine, great film.
Mm-hmm.
But, it does kind of mess up Logan. Yeah. But at the same time, we were able to use the multiverse theory to make this work out. That's why it's not outside the realm of possibility that, Pedro Pascal leading the Fantastic Four as Reed Richards and will be leading the Avengers all the way through Secret Wars, which I believe is 2026 or 27. I want to say 2027.
Yeah. I think 2026. I think next year is Spider-Man, and then
Yeah, the Avengers, the one with Doom in it is next year.
Yeah.
And then a year later would be the Secret Wars. So, the plan is to restart the Marvel Universe as well as X-Men having its first film with a whole new cast. That's the current supposed plan.
And I knew this was going to happen. One, because I think we've talked about this either in the podcast or just solo, but no one cares about the characters they're making now that they're doing movies on. People care about the household names, Hulk and Iron Man and Captain America. They don't care about this other stuff. It's hard to replace. And Marvel and Disney know that that's not bringing in the money that they were hoping. So let's reboot. The problem with rebooting is how to replace someone like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. How to replace these people from playing these iconic characters in this short of a time span.
Yeah, that you really can't.
You can't.
So that's why you kind of have to reboot it, because then it's going to have to reset people's mind, and realize it's like comic books where a character dies but then it's brought back in another generation of comic books or another whole run.
And I guess one could even say the same thing with Batman. In the past 20 whatever years, we've had Christian Bale, we've had Ben Affleck, we had Robert Pattinson, right? Am I missing someone in there?
Patterson, yeah, something like that.
Is there another Batman in there I'm missing? I feel like there's another one. I got that one. Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, Robert Patterson.
Live action, we haven't. That's not.
I guess that's all. So in what 20 years, there's been 3 Batmans. That's crazy. I guess you can say the same about Superman. There's been 2 Supermans now.
Technically, if you count Brandon Roth's, I believe his name was Superman, and then you count
when did
Henry
that come out?
Cavill
Jeez.
I want to say early 2000s.
What was that called? Return of Superman or something like
that? Superman Returns or Return of Superman, something like that. No, I think it was Superman Returns.
The Return of Superman. Either way, yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's 3. I guess, geez, that's crazy. That's wild to think.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tackle this one.
Yeah, this is all you.
So here's the thing, Joe. You know a little bit about business, and would you say that stealing, I don't know, $500,000 from charity, much less stealing from your own employees, is a bad business decision?
Companies need money. Can't even say it without laughing.
So here's the thing. A week ago, if we had done this podcast, I would have exploded.
I would have had the button
with rage. There would have been there would have been. The reason why I'm more tame now is because now it's just sad. It's very sad for the people involved, for the community. I am a VTuber on my Twitch, and some of my YouTube stuff is going to have my VTuber model and whatnot. So I'm heavily involved in the VTuber community. It is very sad for the community, not just the people involved, because this was a company. The company's was called VShojo. They were the top American, I guess you could say, the westernized VTuber company. There's companies like HoloLive out there who are based out of Japan. They are a huge company that's well known to the VTuber community here in America, but they are Japanese based. This is a American based company that also had a whole different business model of putting the talent first, where the talent got to keep most of their revenue. They keep the revenue from their subscriptions, their donations. They keep they keep a huge cut of their sponsorship money, and they still get a cut of their merch and all this stuff. That was the model. Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, this company blew through $11 million in less than 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
And to the point that the people that they hired to do jobs for the company were taking pay cuts, and talent wasn't getting paid. There was one said talent who quit live on her live stream talking to the Japanese CEO of the company, because they have a Japanese CEO and an English CEO. She had managed to get him on her stream, and she ended up quitting right there on the spot. Really? After she was talking about how she hadn't been paid since September of 2024. We're in July of 2025.
That's crazy.
The most popular VTuber in the Western audience is a young lady named Iron Mouse. She's so popular that she's been to Congress. She's been to the White House. Nice. To state her case on CVID, which is a immune deficiency illness. Well, she did a subathon this past year where she became the most subscribed streamer on the entire platform. Something like 320,000 subscribers.
Jeez.
Subscribers. Now, granted, the former highest subscriber took that title back a couple months, like 2 months later, but that at the time that was a huge deal. The biggest part was she made over $515,000 that was all supposed to go to charity. Mm-hmm. Here's where the problem lies. Because anonymity, privacy was so important to her, all of her stuff went through the company, the Shoujo. Oh. That would include the donation, because it was coming out of her Twitch revenue. It wasn't going to a Tiltify link, where Tiltify, as you might know, goes directly to the charity. Unfortunately, it was supposed to come out of her VShojo money, which was handled by, obviously, VShojo. That all of her Twitch money was handled through them, and that's how she got paid. Well, that also included all that money that was supposed to be made for charity. So what happened? Well, the company was out of money, had been out of money for a long time, apparently. And there's more that's coming out about this company. That's why I'm no longer rage-filled. I'm just sad because of what people have had to go through because of this company. It's sad because we had so much faith in the company. Because the talent believed in the company, we as the community, the fans, we believed in the company. So we didn't think, this company's not a bad company. This is a good company. Well, yeah. Come to find out, that's not the case. And so, long story short, they did not give that $500,000. It's been a year, almost a year. Her subathon will exactly be a year old in September, but it's been almost a year, and they have not been paid that $500,000.
That's crazy.
So, she put out a video announcing she was leaving the company. And overnight, and I'm not kidding, overnight, the entire company imploded. Every member of the company, every performer, I guess you could say, whatever you want to call a VTuber to them. I mean, to them, they ultimately ended up being employees instead of just talent and performers. But they had 6 people on the Japanese side, and I can't remember how many on the English side. Well, overnight, every single one of them quit as soon as she put out her video.
Nice.
Because here was the thing. They didn't discuss money with each other, because even though these people were co-workers and they were friends, a lot of the times you don't discuss money with people. Me and Joe are friends, but I don't actively tell him how much money I'm making. Joe doesn't sit there and tell me how much money he's making, because it's not really, If Joe asked me, I probably wouldn't have any problems talking about it because I have nothing to hide, but we don't actively sit there and snoop into each other's finances. Well, these girls are probably the same. So she puts out this video and finds out that because she's not only missing the $500,000 for charity, she is missing, and I quote, another talent used this reference, and she kind of agreed with the reference, but she is owed a Ferrari's worth of money. So you Google search how much a Ferrari's worth, and then you can kind of put two and two together on how much money she is owed. And that wasn't just her. Multiple talents for this company are missing a quote-unquote Ferrari's worth of money, including talents that had left the company 2+ years ago. Still owed a quote-unquote Ferrari's worth of money. So you could see there's a big problem there. Well, anyways, she comes out, makes this video, talks about the money she's owed, and everyone realizes, oh shit, she's owed money too? Well, I'm owed money, and this person, oh, I'm owed money. So everyone realized that they had, were being screwed. It wasn't just them. It was everybody in the company getting screwed. And since the quote unquote talent first agency means they could leave whenever they wanted, that's exactly what they did. They said, fuck you, bye. And they left the company. And literally the community, the VTuber community and everything exploded overnight. And it went from rage-inducing to kind of just sad.
That's great.
Because these are young ladies whose dreams were to entertain, and VTubing is a lot of their escapes to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Iron Mouse, for example, is very sick. Even though she is getting better because of how big she became, she can actually afford the medical needs that she needs to maintain and sustain life and thus get better. She is still a very sick person with oxygen mask and stuff in tubes in her nose and in her chest. So obviously being on camera is a little bit harder for someone like that. So you can see where the problem, where this thing is. Well, anyways, before we move on, I'm just going to leave it with a good thing. She started a Tiltify link asking for $10,000 to go to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. As of right now, which has been under a week or almost at about a week now, it has made $1.3 million.
That's fantastic.
The community has come together and donated that money, and it's all going directly to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. There's no middleman. Yeah. But it just goes to show you, and it's something that you and I have known for a long time, Joe, in any corporate world, any business world, there is very rare to almost no such thing as a black or a red company or a good company. It's always a black company. It's always there's
no good
something.
company. Every company is shady in some form or fashion.
Yes.
Or all shady people working for them, I should say. They might have Google used to be a company that was all about the people and all that jazz, but obviously things have changed over the years, and they got rid of a lot of stuff, such as we won't do bad or whatever it was. And they got rid of that whole thing. But
yeah, right. Yeah. Speaking of bad companies.
Yeah, so Sony is, little small Sony.
It's a bad company.
It's a small little company. It's pretty tiny.
Yeah.
They don't really sell a whole lot of stuff. Maybe like a TV or a PlayStation 5 here and there, but nothing major.
Not anymore.
They're suing, China's Tencent. Is that how you say it? Tencent?
I think it's Tencent, yeah.
Tencent, yeah, over alleged replication of its Horizon Zero Dawn game. And
they kind of might have a case here, like
Mark,
you were saying.
In chat, I just dropped a link to what I'm looking at. If you look at that picture, you won't be able to see it on the screen here for the podcast, but look it up. The top one for it, yep, doesn't that look pretty damn similar? Both games have post-apocalyptic worlds, mech animals, bow wielding heroes that mirror each other, have survival mechanics very similar to each other. And the world, for the most part, is exactly the same.
Hey, Joe.
And this is a PlayStation game, by the way. It's not a mobile game.
Is it bad? Is it bad that I kind of like the top picture better, though?
Yeah, it is bad. That's probably AI done too, though.
But that's true. You're probably right. It's just funny.
It's probably now. Was Tencent? Didn't they recently just relaunch? What was that game called? It's a shooter game from back. Delta Force? Aren't they the guys behind Delta Force?
They might be. Tencent is behind
Delta
a lot
Force.
more than people know. Because they're actually a huge company.
I played the Delta Force reboot from them, and I tell you what, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. The trailer made it look kind of cool and all that jazz, but I have zero interest in it. Zero interest. It runs like crap. It plays like crap. It doesn't feel like the old Delta Force games that they said they was going to. But yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's the news with that. So we'll see how that based on just the pictures and some of the little gameplay I've watched it, they have a major case on their hand. And it's either going to come down to Sony winning it or that game was going to get just shut down and that's the end of it.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it's a mobile game, then it needs to be shut down anyways because there's already too many of these fucking games.
It's not mobile.
It's not.
No,
I thought it was a mobile game. My mistake.
Yep, full-fledged. It's on It's on the PlayStation 5 and probably on Xbox.
That's funny. That's funny that they're copying a PlayStation game and putting
on
it on
PlayStation.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, Sony?
I almost kind of applaud them for having the balls to do that. That's fucking hilarious.
Sony could just, I guess, block it. You know, they have the power. It's their network. They can just block if they really wanted to. But I guess this is probably the best way. Is just take them to court and whatever.
Holy shit, that's still hilarious though. In a weird way, that's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
And we're gonna copy your game. And by the way, can we put it on your platform?
Well, Mark, do we have anything else to add to this wacky episode?
No. I think we got out everything that we needed. There was a lot of different things this last couple weeks, but and that's why it's kind of fun. Having a lot of different things to talk about, not being stagnant on one topic, which is still fun at times when we're passionate about the topic. But
I don't think we really mentioned it either because I know the last episode we were going to do news and go back to topic ones. But anyways, for those listening, we are going to be focusing primarily on news episodes every 2 weeks, but we will do a topic episode once in a while when there's something beneficial that we can really dive deep into without making it seem kind of drawn out. So that's at least the plan. So we'll open up maybe with a little bit of news after those episodes and then go into the topic ones. But I think Mark and I both agree, I think, that the news ones are a lot more engaging because there are just a whole bunch, like Mark said, different things we can cover in, an hour's worth of time.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to do your plug, your weekly plug or episode plug?
Yeah, I mean, as always, just follow me on twitch.tv/HisokaRPG or follow me over on YouTube. Hisoka RPG is there as well. I've also got a couple other channels over there on YouTube, but I haven't really started them yet, so I'm not going to plug them quite yet. But probably by the time the next episode comes out, I will probably start plugging at least the React channel that I'm doing, because I've got 3 YouTube channels now. I've got the regular Hisoka RPG channel has become kind of my unboxing channel, because that's where I unbox a lot of my collectibles, like my Transformers, any figurines I get. And then I've got my standard VOD channel, which I won't really need to plug because that's just for VODs. And then I have a Hisoka Reaction. I think it's literally the channel's at Hisoka Reaction or React or something like that. I have to remember. No, it's Reaction, because I think React was taken. But basically, it's at Hisoka Reaction, and I'm going to start doing reaction content. I'm about to be editing the first episode. Is going to be a new music video by Iron Mouse. That'll be coming out probably here in the next couple days to a week. And I'm going to go from there. And anything I find, like, if I start watching a show that I find really fascinating, I might react to it. Or if, a good music video or trailer or something comes out, stuff
Mark,
like that.
You should do a reaction to our very first episode.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed of it, but that would be something
These
that
two
would
morons
be...
talking. What the hell are they even talking about?
Yeah, who the fuck are these
asses.
idiots? Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I'm not opposed to it. It was just I would have to be more later down the road when it's got if the channel starts to do good.
Are you saying we're crap?
Yes.
On that note, we'll see y'all next time. Take care.
Bye.